I'm Wolfman Sam, here with my partner Johnny Buff Guns.
Hello?
And we are Creatures of the Night.
Yes, we are.
Okay, how's everyone doing?
I hope everyone's doing well, and to start this podcast off, we're going Back to the Future, 121 gigawatts! Back to the Future turns 40 this year.
Yeah, we got a couple anniversaries.
Yes.
Phantom of the Opera, 100?
100 years old.
Years old, the original
1925 with Lon Chaney Sr.
And what was the other anniversary?
Well, let's see. The Goonies turns 40. Pee-wee's Big Adventure turns 40 this year.
Right.
And also, not just in general, Rocky Horror turns 50 this year.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
I know. Oh yeah, especially all these other, it's funny, I went to a convention recently. They had a couple actors from Back to the Future. Huey Lewis was there, but I only saw him at a distance. I wasn't desperate to meet him for $150. No thanks.
Right.
But my cousin Jason, oh my god, he's got like a collection of almost every actor of Back to the Future. Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, Thomas F. Wilson, who played Biff, Leah Thompson, but I don't think he hasn't met Crispin Glover yet, who played George McFly, that I'm aware of.
Well, you never know. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway. So
what do you think of Back to the Future?
I always loved all three films.
Same.
It's funny. Those films in particular, I have to watch them all in one go.
Right, same.
Like, if I'm going to watch Back to the Future 1, I've got to watch 2 and 3. And they're all equally as good.
Yeah.
I don't think any of them lack in any way. There was always talk about them doing a fourth one.
I know.
Where, Marty goes back in time and he has to face his old self, and his old self is evil or something like that.
But what I've heard that, I also heard there was one they wanted to do where they went back to the French Revolution to sign a Declaration of Independence, which interesting, but it's that could go either way.
Yeah, and that's kind of pulling at straws. You know?
Yeah.
Like I said, I think it was the perfect place to end.
Yeah, it's a trilogy was enough. Then going for 4 or 5, that they go back to space.
Yeah. Well, then you run into Scream territory where number 8. Yeah.
Because the first movie, it's it's a coming of age film. It's science fiction, comedy, a mixture of genres, and also it's like Wizard of Oz. You have a guy who accidentally goes back to 1955, and he almost ruins his existence, and he has to try to fix that.
Yeah, and I always find it interesting that Michael J. Fox wasn't the first choice. It was
I know.
Adults.
Yes.
And it was much darker, and
well, this is the story.
It's interesting,
This is the story I've heard, is that I watched an interview with Thomas F. Wilson, and he said there was so much beef and tension between Eric Stoltz and Robert Zemeckis because, Eric Stoltz is a good actor, but comedy, he's not a comedy guy. He's a method actor, Eric Stoltz. If you watch the movie Mass, that just shows why that he was not the right fit for playing Marty McFly in Back to the Future.
Right, and I'm glad they went with
because
Fox in the long run.
Because halfway through the 6 weeks of filming with Eric Stoltz, one day Thomas Wilson came on set and found out they canceled filming for the rest of the day, and he goes, Robert Zemeckis wants a meeting with you and Crispin Glover, and they go into they go to Robert Zemeckis' office for a meeting, and they're thinking, oh shit, are we fired? But quite the opposite. He's telling them, okay guys, you guys are doing a great job, you guys have done a great job, you guys are fine, you're not the problem. He goes, we fired Eric Stoltz and we're hiring Michael J. Fox to replace him as Marty.
And it worked out. It was perfect chemistry.
It did.
It still cracks me up too that Thomas F. Wilson went on to do things like SpongeBob.
I know.
He's a constant character voice on that show.
He's actually a stand-up comic in real life, which is
stand-up comic.
How he plays a bowling.
Command and Conquer was a video game he did where he played kind of a Biff character.
Yeah, and he was Tony Zuko and Batman.
I forget the character's name. It was Nash or something like that. But really, really, really fun. Oh, No, it was like Madman or something like that. Something.
I don't know. I don't know his. I only know him as Biff and a few other things here and there. I don't know his
Yeah,
full filmography.
he believe it or not, he has a lot of range.
Right.
You know, yes, he kind of gets typecast as the bully or like a bully adjacent character,
Right.
but the dude
Well,
has
he
a
was
lot of
also
range.
he was also briefly in Action Jackson, but only a small minor part in that movie.
Yeah, my favorite movie, even though he's not really prevalent in that movie, is actually one of his first, April Fool's Day.
I had a feeling you were going to say that. I had to watch that again. I haven't seen that in years.
It's a great movie with a great twist.
Yeah, it
You guys
basically
haven't
was
seen
Scream
it.
for the time.
Yeah, unknown. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, then again, a lot of like even Crispin Glover was in Friday the 13th the previous year before this film, and
Right.
yeah,
And it's one of those things of like, it brings me back to the 80s of like, they had this just outlandish idea and they just figured they'd try it,
right.
and it became a big, massive hit. So,
Yeah. When also watching Back to the Future, the part when he's trying to send Marty back, when the wires like get disconnected, when he's on the clock tower. Again, being a film buff that I am, a cinema fan that I am, that was a tribute to Harold Lloyd's 1923's Safety Last.
right. That it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. This is what I get for being a geek and proud of it.
Yep. Well, we're both proud,
Yeah.
But yeah, so in terms of one of the things I've been watching, I've been trying to catch up on all the Phantom of the Opera movies.
Right.
I don't have a favorite yet. Like
my favorite is
definitive favorite because they're all good in their own way.
They are. Well, my favorite is 1925 because that was the first one I ever saw before I knew anything about other Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, it is. It is the closest to the book. Believe it or not, it's not the first attempt.
Right.
It's actually the second attempt. The first film attempt was I think closer to the book, 1910 ish.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure on the date, but it wasn't that long after the book was published. And the problem why it doesn't exist is because the film caught fire.
Yeah.
And got obliterated, and so they had to try again.
Yeah. One thing I was never aware about with the first 1925 Phantom of the Opera is that when it was screened to test audience, they didn't like it. They had to reshoot the movie, and
right.
Yeah, because they didn't like the original ending where Eric the Phantom dies of a broken heart, whereas in this movie I've seen throughout my life, he gets beat by the mob and they throw him in the water. At the end, he dies.
Right. And it's one of those things of, what I love about the each of the remakes is they're all different.
Yeah, true.
The Lon Chaney one is more romantic. It's not my favorite, but I love Lon Chaney.
Right.
It's a little bit too hokey. It's funny, but it's a little bit hokey. I have a big soft spot for the Robert Englund one.
Right.
I love that one.
When you watch any silent film like that, you make up body language jokes in your head of just anything. Or
well, believe it or not, they have a voice version of it.
They did, but it's lost.
And the acting is terrible.
Right.
Yeah, I think they did re-release it. I'm not entirely sure.
There was a talkie version, the 25 version, but again, it's lost. No one has a copy of it to this day. I don't know.
I know there's.
I don't know the reason.
There.
I don't know the story behind why they did a talkie version. Maybe because the silent era was coming to an end, they wanted to see how would Family Opera look as a talkie movie.
And like Nosferatu, I think it works better as a silent film.
I agree.
And this is coming from a guy that likes the remake of that as well, the 70s remake.
Right, and I actually
and the more recent remake too.
I did like that too, but it was it's how many more times I gotta see it over and over again, especially
well, it's funny because each time they do something different. Like the more recent one was closer to that gothic kind of, almost closer to the 70s one.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some complaints. I would have some nitpicks.
Yeah.
I do think the twist is a little gimmicky.
Yeah.
and to like, I don't know. I feel like it's too moderner in terms of the gore. I know to complain about a gore in a vampire film is like complaining about like I don't know the food at a buffet. That's a good analogy. But what I mean. I think it's much better when the gore is implied. But
right.
no, it's a great film, and Willem Dafoe is a great Helsing. Or
Yeah, it was.
name in the movie.
I
He
did.
wasn't Helsing. He was somebody.
I did enjoy some like good performances from him and Lily Rose Depp and like
Yeah, everybody's performance was good. Even
yeah
um, Skarsgård, no count.
as Orlock, yeah.
But again, I would like a little bit more subtlety from him. I really dug the '70s Klaus Kinski
yeah
version, where he was
yeah
just creepy. He
yeah
like, and at any moment you didn't know when the beast was coming out. With Skarsgård's version, and this is not down to his performance, this is down to the writing. I buy that he's a monster, but he's
yeah
a monster that can't hide,
right
that can't deceive that he's a monster, and I
right.
think that was lost. But I like the modern version.
Well, I like the performance, but the modern look of it was like the mustache was a little bit weird. Like,
I know they were going for more of the Dracula from the book.
well, that's true. Yeah,
That's why
that's
they
true.
went with the mustache, which in the book
Right.
he does have a mustache. So
Okay. Yeah, because and speaking of like talking about Nosferatu and Dracula, the other night I saw Del Toro's Frankenstein. Well, I think it was an okay movie. It wasn't great. I think he did an okay job of like
yeah, I
making
still need to see that.
What's that?
Yeah, I still need to see that.
Okay,
I also need to see
it's
Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Was it the '90s?
oh yeah, the one with Robert De Niro. You know, it's funny. My
Yeah.
dad doesn't like that film, but after watching Del Toro's Frankenstein, he said he might reconsider or revisit because he was a little bit iffy on Del Toro's Frankenstein. You know what it is? We've seen so many different Frankenstein films throughout the years. Like, how many more times I gotta keep seeing the same repetitives again?
Yeah, and that's the thing about remakes. There's a fine line. Family opera has kind of given me an appreciation for remakes, like the good
Yeah.
thing about remakes. If you're gonna do something different, do something different, sure.
Right,
But at the same time, why bother remaking it?
right,
If it's modern enough, even if it's not modern enough, leave it be, and
right.
come up with something completely different.
Right. The other thing too is that my dad like grew up on the original Frankenstein from the '30s with Boris Karloff,
Yeah,
which is
I love that. I
understandable.
love that movie.
Me too.
But if we're talking
And
about
Bride of Frankenstein.
if we're talking about Universal monsters, I know this is going to be a weird one, but
What's that?
I've always liked the Invisible Man.
That's okay. That's your personal favorite. That's
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know if it's down to Claude. I think it's down to Claude Rains' performance.
Right.
He just sells madness.
I always respect someone telling me like why their favorite Universal monster is this because maybe it was what the first one they saw or maybe it's the one they watched the most out of all of them. That's okay.
Believe it or not, the first one I saw was The Wolfman. I had
Really?
The Wolfman originally on VHS, the Lon Chaney original I'm talking about.
Right.
I love that movie too. That
Right.
movie has great atmosphere. But
Yes.
the one that stuck out to
Chaney's performance.
yeah, the one that stuck out to me the most, besides Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein, and Dracula to an extent, the Lugosi version,
Yeah.
was The Invisible Man, and I think that was down to the atmosphere. I went back and I watched it recently. I have the collection actually.
Right. Same.
And I watched it recently, and I paid attention to the snowy atmosphere. There's a lot
Yeah.
of quiet moments before the Invisible Man technically goes crazy. And
Yeah.
there's elements of comedy in there
There
too.
is.
That's done well. But yeah, his performance, he just does this. He just has a stage presence and this voice that I can listen to for hours.
Right. The first.
And that laugh, I gotta say, that laugh every time I hear it, I'm
The
sorry.
Joker, Mark Hamill.
I hear Mark Hamill's inspiration for the Joker laugh.
Well, even Mark Hamill said in an interview that that's where he took inspiration for Joker laugh.
I
And
can hear it. I can even in when he does his like lower register Joker, I hear the Claude Rains influence.
right, the first time I ever saw the Invisible Man as a little kid, I remember like thinking to myself, "Am I supposed to be scared or laughing at this?" Because I was like laughing out loud as a kid
I
when
think a
he's
little bit of both. You know,
where he's like unbandaging himself and like laughing that he can get away with being invisible, see the
it's a
advantage that
type
he
of
has.
film that doesn't take itself too seriously,
Right,
but the atmosphere, the snowy atmosphere, the quiet atmosphere. Because it's essentially about a thief or a guy that goes mad.
right. Well,
Technically,
you see, like that's the other thing I like about the Universal monster. When I go back to revisit them, you see like the sad tragedy of how they lost their souls, and
yeah. And I love old school like monster movie atmosphere.
yeah,
You
same,
know, I think one of the reasons why I like just snowy kind of quiet movies, I think has something to do with the Invisible Man because
right?
that opening scene, there's no dialogue.
No,
He comes in from the snow. They look at him, and as the audience, you take a look at him. He's got these goggles on. He's all covered up. And it's like,
right?
who is this guy?
Yeah,
For a room, and he goes up there, and you're kind of left there to sit. And I like moments like that.
right.
Not too, not too long. Not like okay, it's time to go to the next scene. But moments where you allow the audience to digest what they just saw.
Yeah, especially like the way Uno Connor is like so like annoying when she like screams and yells. And,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
like the. I think at one point, one of the coppers in the movie actually says like "shut up," like.
right. Yeah. I mean, Grant, you understand that her husband was beaten up by the Phantom. He fell down, injured himself, but still, like I guess because you feel like she's annoying because of how like she didn't respect his privacy and how he didn't want to like whatever it is that
Right, and you could
yeah
see that he's a desperate man. And
wants to
knowing
turn
what
back
I know
into
about the
gold.
film now, I'm not going to give it spoiler away, but he knows he's going mad.
Yeah,
I won't give away why, but he knows he's going mad, and he's trying to hang on to his sanity as well.
right. But it's not easy.
He's fumbling for a cure to the
Yeah,
invisibility.
it just shows like another like science gone wrong where he thought, yes, I created that I'll be invisible, but oh, wait a second, how do you turn back is the question. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and what are the side effects and stuff like that, and
Right,
and it's a
right,
different type of monster, I think, because it's the monster that makes you go mad. Doesn't necessarily physically deform you, but mentally deforms you.
right, right.
I think is an interesting concept.
Yeah, like whenever I rewatch Frankenstein, I understand seeing how like the monster's misunderstood. He didn't like want to. He just didn't understand a lot of things yet because he was basically reborn again.
Right. Question. I always wanted to know, what's your opinion on Bride of Frankenstein?
Oh, I love Bride of Frankenstein. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's funny because that film. It's funny when I watch Frankenstein, I always have to watch Bride afterwards.
Same, same.
Like to me, that is the official sequel,
Yeah,
and it
it's
feels like
basically
a natural continuation.
right. I like the opening when Mary Shelley's telling these two gentlemen like how she's going to finish her story of Frankenstein because she's still in the middle of writing it.
Yeah. Speaking of Mary Shelley, I came across some interesting little trivia about
About
her.
Mary Shelley,
Yeah,
like what?
a book that she had written. I don't know if this was either the inspiration for Last Man on Earth, but I think it was called The Last. It was something similar to The Last Man on Earth, and it had
Right.
a very similar concept of the end of the world, but in Victorian times.
Interesting.
I think it was called like The Last Human Being or something like that.
Well, it's funny you
Um,
say that. Recently, I met Victoria Price, Vincent Price's daughter, and I told her how much I loved her father in The Last Man on Earth in the '60s, the first I Am Legend adaptation.
that's pretty interesting. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I'm trying to. I wish I could remember the name of the book, but it was something like The Last Man on
Okay.
Earth or The Last Human Being.
Right.
What was interesting was when she had published it, she was getting backlash from everybody. They were going, "Oh, that'll never happen. The end of the world. No one will ever buy it."
Well,
And I'm like, somebody took that idea and basically made I Am Legend,
right.
and here we go. Or
Right.
Last Man on Earth. I'm trying to remember. Do you think you could look it up? Is it?
I'll try my
Yeah,
best to see if I
it's
can look
like called The
into it.
Last Human or The Last. It might be called The Last Man
Right.
on Earth by
But
my.
what I also love about Vincent Price in Last Man on Earth is how he plays a character of tragedy and psychological, how it's gotten to him being the last person on Earth, how he
Yeah,
hasn't had
and
much.
I like I Am Legend, okay, but that's an
Well,
aspect.
I told Victoria Price, Vincent Price's daughter, once I saw your father, it's like I can't go back to Will Smith. Sorry.
No, it's like Vincent Price created a very human character,
Yeah,
or at least
exactly.
it was down to the writing, where you believe that, yeah, he's literally the last man on earth. He's trying to, again, it plays on people's sanity,
Right.
um, and it's one of those things that I think it's more relatable than kind of a zombie kind of outbreak.
Well, that's like when I rewatch the Will Smith one every now and then, I notice yeah, the CGI zombie vampires don't hold up or haven't aged well since
No, I mean, besides that, I mean, I think it's more frightening also,
it is.
um, to not have to, like, let's say you're the last man on earth. Okay, be the last man on earth. How frightening is that concept? That
Well,
you are literally the last of your race and you are trying to survive and you
yeah.
have no way of like reproducing.
No, the first time I even heard of this concept, before I knew that it was a book or the other adaptations, this idea and concept really got to me as a teenager. Really frightened me, to think of that idea, thinking, what would you do if you
Yeah.
were the last person on Earth?
Yeah, yeah, like that's such a I think a much more frightening concept than being hunted by zombies, obviously.
Yeah, no, true, and
But that
especially how
that kind of ties into my idea of zombies are overdone in everything.
I could, it's
I
funny you
like a
say
good
that.
zombie flick, but it's overdone. I'm
Right.
sorry.
I feel like with me, my exception with zombies, I do love George Romero's
Yeah, George
Night of the
Romero
Living Dead,
zombie.
Dawn, and Day.
Right.
Those are great
There
movies.
is a right way of doing that, an interesting way of doing that, but I think it's just oversaturated. It's
With
its own genre.
With George Romero, he wrote complex characters with dilemmas and problems in a current
Right.
crisis in a situation. Here's in Night of the Living Dead, it was the last thing on earth they wanted to expect to run against, you know, in a house with people. They were not getting they did not put their differences aside, and
Right.
they couldn't work together and get along very well.
Right.
And whereas in Dawn of the Dead, they learn to put their differences aside and work together as a team, become a family. But in Day of the Dead, it goes back to Night of the Living Dead. She's underground with these soldiers. She's not safe with it, and they're worse than the zombies.
Right. And yeah, like Captain Rhodes, everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. When I met the actress who played Sarah, there's Laura I'll just edit that in there. The actress who played Sarah. I told her every time I watch this movie, I get this adrenaline. It's I want to point a gun at Rose. Don't you dare kill me,
Right.
son of a bitch. Yeah.
Yeah,
But of
exactly.
course, the actor who played Rose was a nice guy in real life, of course, according to the Sarah actress.
Yeah.
But no, Day of the Dead is a great movie. I love that movie. It's probably one of my
Yeah, it's one of
favorites.
my favorites actually in terms
No, same. Coming from
George,
someone who's not the biggest zombie fanatic,
George
but this is
Romero.
the one film I'm you know what? This is a masterpiece. This is amazing.
Yeah, I mean that's George Romero. I mean, in terms of zombie flicks, hold on. Oh yeah, Oh yeah, I just I looked up the Mary Shelley book. By the way,
Right. All right. Well,
it is called The Last Man.
okay, so that's what it was.
The
I think I've
Last
heard of
Man.
that.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. It's not The Last Man on Earth. It's just called The Last Man.
Okay,
I
got.
had to look it up. So I apologize for a little bit of dead air, but
That's okay. That's why I was
I
like,
had to look it up. It was bothering me. Yeah, it's called The Last Man, and it's literally what it sounds like is a Victorian kind of Last Man on Earth before Last Man on Earth
okay,
existed.
I getcha. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, I'll have to
Yeah,
read it. I have to pick it up.
gotcha.
All that stuff. But yeah. All right. Is there anything you want to cover?
Yes, with talking about Back to the Future turning 40 this year, the Goonies and Pee Wee's Big Adventure also turned 40 this year.
It's crazy.
I know.
Pee Wee's Big Adventure is one of those like weird kind of movies where it's Burton, so it rides the line between kids film and kind of horror film in
To a degree,
some
like,
certain scenes.
well, I'll admit, I really did not grow up on Pee Wee because when I was a kid, Pee Wee was like way out of the picture and behind.
I caught reruns Pee Wee late at night. I
Right.
caught.
But my cousin Jason had like a couple like VHS tapes of Pee Wee. We watched some of them, but I just don't remember an episode that comes to mind. And also, I did watch the movie a couple times as a kid because I was interested and fascinated. Like this was Tim Burton's first film before like Batman, Beetlejuice, and Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And a couple, I'm going to say a year ago, I actually went down a little rabbit hole of Burton's early work, and he actually
Vincent,
Vincent, and he did believe it or not, and I think I discussed this one time. He collaborated with Disney to do a Hansel and Gretel movie.
you mentioned that once.
Yeah, I might have mentioned it. It's very early Burton. It's very odd. It feels like Pee Wee, like the like in terms of the sets. It's very early Burton. It's pretty good from what I remember, but very surreal.
Right. But you also think about Pee Wee's Big Adventure. It's also like taking inspiration from a 1940s Italian neorealism bicycle thief, like basically a kind of modern day like Butch.
Yeah, and you could kind of see.
Oh yeah, no, like when I took film class and we watched Bicycle Thief for film class, I was like, now I get it where Pee Wee's Big Adventure inspiration comes from.
Right.
All the puzzles click in where you see the inspiration. The only difference is this is a comedy, whereas Bicycle Thief was a real serious film.
Well, it's funny, when you find out what inspired what, and I always get a kick out of either real people or instances where, especially with horror films, to find out that either it's based off of a news article or someone the director or writer knew that either traumatized them or something like that.
Right. We'll also think about Pee Wee. Like at that time, Paul Rubens was big at the time for the show, and they thought, let's make a movie out of it. And thanks to Paul Rubens, this is why we have Tim Burton today.
Go figure. Thank Pee Wee for Tim Burton.
Right, but the funny part is when you watch the film, despite it's a Pee Wee film, but it has its moments of this moment is Tim Burton because of the stop motion animation
style is all over that movie.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's
like it's like he wanted to have some of his style in it for the sake of it to show that hey, I can make good movies. I really want to be a big shot someday.
I always got the sense with Pee Wee's Big Adventure. I always got the sense that he really wanted to do a horror movie. He really wanted to do something spooky.
Right.
He was just itching to do something darker. Like I said, he was probably chomping at the bit to do Beetlejuice.
Yeah, true. Well, especially I read that after doing Pee Wee, that was his starting point. But he said that Tim Burton was offered different versions of Pee Wee that he turned down. I don't want to do another Pee Wee version. I want to do my own type of movie.
Right. Still cracks me up that he almost did Superman.
Yeah, that's true.
with
Yeah,
Nick Cage.
yeah, I
Thank
don't
God we
see it
never got
now.
that movie. We never got super edgy Superman.
No, but the funny part is there's a documentary about that film that was almost made, and they have like behind the scene like footage of showing Nicolas Cage in the
Oh, it looks
costume
bad.
process.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I love these two. Like, I love Tim Burton, I love Nicolas Cage, but I just don't see them as Superman or doing a Superman
No, and
film.
it was gonna be like the edgy version of Superman.
Yeah,
Superman's not Superman. He's
right.
fighting Brainiac and all this other BS and
Yeah, but thank God that film was never made. It's one of those what could have, should have, and we'll never know how that film could have turned out to be.
probably like Darkman.
I have to say, if they had done a dark, I could definitely see Tim Burton doing like a Dark Man type of film.
Well, it's funny. I would have loved if instead of Sam Raimi doing Darkman, have him get the rights to what he was originally going to do, because what he originally was going to do instead of Darkman was The Shadow. I would
Right.
love to see his version of The Shadow.
So would I, but that's why he did Darkman, because he could not get like the rights to the Shadow or Batman or any comic book superhero to make.
So he kind of made his own version cross with Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but still a really good film.
Oh yeah, definitely. No, that's
one of Liam Neeson's best.
yeah. One of my favorite movies that Sam Raimi directed.
Yep, mine too. Mine too.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I just recently saw? Speaking of
What's that?
Sam Raimi, finally saw Drag Me to Hell.
What'd you think?
I liked it. I liked
I liked it too.
I wanted, well, I don't want to give spoilers away for people who haven't seen
Right.
it, but I'm very mixed on the ending. I'm very
Okay.
mixed on the ending. I like the ending. I get what they were going for. Kind of feels like a Stephen King story.
Right.
We'll bet.
It's funny. It's funny you say that. I guess the other day when I went to the movies to see Predator: Badlands, they showed a trailer to his new horror film that's coming out called Send Help, where it's like Castaway meets Misery, and I'm already excited for another Sam Raimi horror movie.
I can't wait.
Me too. I will definitely be checking that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. All right. Is there anything else you want to cover?
Also, like I said, Goonies turns 4. I rewatched it last night. What do you think of Goonies?
Oh, Goonies is a childhood favorite of mine.
Right.
I watched that movie so many times as a kid. I think I can quote it forwards and
Right. I mean, I did watch it, but not as much as like other kids. I watched it here and there a couple times because I didn't have it on VHS tape.
I caught it a lot of times on TV, believe it or not.
Okay.
I don't remember if I had the VHS tape going.
Right. Well, I did. I remember like watching it with like friends of mine or my cousins, and
Right.
I still think it's a fun movie to watch. It's enjoyable. It's really
Oh yeah, it's very well written. It's enjoyable.
yeah.
It's right up there at Monster Squad.
Right.
Squad is super underrated.
Because of Goonies, this is why we have movies like Monster Squad or The Sandlot or other films that have like
Stranger Things, for better or worse.
Yes, that I agree.
Good. I have to say, it's to be said.
Yeah.
Somebody must have been a big fan of John Carpenter movies and the Goonies.
Stephen King.
Yeah, Stephen King, definitely. But I always got a John Carpenter vibe from Stranger Things.
Right. Well, it's a mixture of things. John Carpenter, Stephen King, or Steven Spielberg, the works.
Yep. But what else? But yeah, Goonies always will have a wonderful place in my heart.
Yeah. When I was rewatching it, I found like the villains that they fight up against. They're kind of like a Three Stooges type of vibe to some degree.
Very Three Stooges.
Yeah, the mother's basically like Mo.
Sloth as a kid scared me as a kid.
Yeah, I could see. I could agree with that one. Yeah, but they've recently announced that they're working on a sequel to Goonies. I'm like, okay, that's gonna go either way.
I mean, it's why? Yeah,
I have no idea.
Why? It doesn't need. You don't like. What are you gonna do? A Goonies Afterlife kind of thing, where it's.
I have no idea. I guess where Sean,
That's I can see them going that direction, but why?
I
Why
guess
do it
where I guess showing where Sean Ashton is grown up with his own kids and Josh.
Yeah,
I don't know.
but I don't know. Maybe it's just me. To quote Fred Gwynn from Pet Cemetery,
What's that?
sometimes dead is better. And that's how I feel about most remakes today, or sequels, or requels, or whatever they're doing with it. I'm just like, leave it alone.
Right.
You know,
Well, they also announced a third Gremlins movie. I'm like, okay, that's also going to go either way.
yeah, that's also going to go either way. They're coming out with another Scream movie, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
you lost me at 7.
Right. It's funny you say that actually because after the Scream 7 trailer came out, people were like boycotting it and complaining like, we want Melissa back. We want Melissa back.
No, I was just fatigued. I was like, all right,
right.
How? Like, I get it that it can be anybody. I get it, and it pokes fun at the movie industry, and I get that.
Right. Well, for me, I'm a little bit somewhat curious, but it's like this is going to go either way. But I was really hoping.
But again, much like Batman, much like Child's Play, I say let it rest.
Right.
Let it rest. Let
we have to make the money.
Yeah. We got to have the money.
I really enjoy
merchandising. But yeah, Chucky especially. We've had a series. We've had sequels, and
remake.
I like Fiona Durf. I like his daughter. I want to see more stuff with her. Right.
Right.
Or something else. I want to see her have a nice career. He is not the problem, but I think Chucky has to rest. I love him.
Right.
He's my number 2, right after the OG Freddy Krueger.
Right. Gotcha.
He's my number 2. I love him, but it's just like, come on. I get he always comes back. I get that. But that doesn't need to be like the movie formula,
Right.
Anyway.
Like I said, we got to make the money.
Anyway.
Yeah. Well, one thing going back to Goonies, I forgot to mention, it's an adventure film where you have these kids that are trying to find treasure because I liked it when there was a part where they said, we got to go home. He goes, yeah, but we go back home, they're going to lose their home.
Right. And that's when they find the jewels, stuff like that.
Right.
Spoilers for a 40-something-year-old movie. But
well, especially how there's definitely some commentary on class, like high class, middle
class. But I don't see it. I don't see it.
That's when you're a kid, you don't think about these things. Now that you're older, you're like, yep, now I get this stuff.
I guess, but like I said, even as an adult, I see it as a fun adventure film.
It is, no, it is.
I don't look too deep into the political messages of something-year-old,
Right. Yeah. And each kid has a personality you can identify with, thinking, yeah, maybe I was that kid to some degree, but different, and yeah. Which character do you identify the most, with Goonies?
Mouth.
Really, Corey Feldman. Interesting.
Mouth, yeah, because that was me as a kid. I always smart aleck kid, always kind of
really.
I didn't really necessarily have a big mouth, but
I get it. Right. That's like how when I watch The Sandlot, it's like I'm one of these kids, a baseball player to a degree.
Well, that's the thing. When it comes to Sandlot, I'm probably Smalls.
Right. Yeah, it's the same.
I'm probably Smalls.
Same.
Because there are situations as an adult that I just feel like I don't really belong here,
Right. Same.
But that's how I felt. Smalls is how I felt when I was a kid in school. I felt like I don't really belong here. I feel kind of weird. I don't really have much in common. And then you find your group of friends. But yeah.
True. Yeah. Well, just like Smalls wasn't the best at baseball first, but through practice got better.
Yep. You're killing me, Smalls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I admit I watched a lot more Sandlot than Goonies growing up.
Well, everybody's got their own thing, you know.
True.
I love both those series of movies.
Same.
I especially love Sandlot, you know.
Yeah, same. One of my favorite childhood movies.
But yeah, Sandlot's always close to my heart.
Yeah.
The second one's pretty good, but I don't know.
I never saw it. I only saw the first one.
I like to think there's only like one movie, but that's my headcanon.
Right. Yeah. I know it's like what sequels to this or that, or what sequel that they're working on to Goonies that we need.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and also Predator Badlands, the newest Predator film I saw recently, which was I liked it. But
I've heard nothing but bad things. I
didn't hate it. It's like, okay, yeah, like I basically had like nitpicks with it where it's like, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and yeah, it was hit or miss for me because Prey I think was the best one and better because of like the idea to Prey where it takes place in the 1700s, back when the fighting the Native Americans did not have the advantage of advanced weapon technologies to fight the predators.
Right. Yeah. I know a lot of people were kind of taking like the piss out of it, going it's kind of a Predator romance thing between the ladies.
Well, that is also
I've heard about it.
Well, since that, and also since 20th Century Fox is owned by Disney, they're trying to make it what Marvel was.
I don't know. Something about that don't it doesn't mix.
No, it doesn't.
Doesn't work.
And especially like this time, the Predator is the good. Well, even though the Predator was the good guy in Alien versus Predator, but that's because he starts off bad, but then becomes good when he teams up with Sanaa Lathan's character in Alien versus Predator.
Right, exactly.
But in this movie, he is fully a good guy. Meets Ellie Fanning's character, who is actually Ellie Fanning plays two characters, where she's the good robot, the bad robot. Think of it as like the good witch and the bad witch.
That sounds ridiculous, but okay.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
Yeah, Ellie Fanning's character as the good robot, she's like hip and gullible and sweet and cuddly and friendly, whereas I did like her as the bad robot. Like, okay, this part was okay.
I mean, I may see it, I may not.
Well, that's what I get for being a sucker punch for being a fan of the first Predator movie and the second.
That's fine, you know. Listen, I've seen most of the modern day Chucky stuff, so that's fine. You know, I've avoided the series like Prey, but that's another story.
I just wish that we could bring back Arl at some point. I mean, yes, he's getting old, but I wouldn't mind at least one more movie with him as Dutch.
It can work. I mean, you know, or they can do a Danny Glover. I like Predator 2.
So do I.
I like Predator 2. I think Predator 2 is a great movie.
Yeah, but I kind of wish this was a sequel to Predator. I mean, to Prey, the last one with fighting the Native Americans.
Right.
Yeah, because I was hoping maybe another one. So far, basically with the Predator films, they have not rebooted it. Every one is its own thing.
Right. Exactly.
My advice: go back to the original Predator with Arnold. That's the way to start.
Yep. Go back to the '80s Predator. And you know, check out the sequel. You know, the sequel is great too.
Just skip the Predator from 2018. That movie was garbage and a turd.
Yeah, less said about that one, the better.
Oh yeah, well, I still cringe when I just with Keegan whatever the heck is Keegan Michael K's joke. If your mom's vagina is a video game, you're ready to eat for everyone. My joke's back to
they really went with. They tried to capture like the macho kind of dialogue from the 80s.
Oh yeah.
And they looked at that. They looked at that little the joke at the beginning. You know, my pussy is big as a house. You know, and they're like, "Oh, that's funny," but the entire point of that joke was it was lame. So they
Yes.
insert a lame
Oh, it
joke.
was.
Of,
It still is, and it's like, how the hell did they get away with saying that joke? And also, back when I did my Predator 2018 video, I wish I shouted this out to Keegan Michael K's bad joke to that is, if his dick was a video game, he'd rated C for castration.
right. That's still a better joke, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Less said the better about that.
Yeah, is there anything else we got to cover?
Let's see here. Oh, it's time for talking about people I met recently. Boys and girls, I met Carl Winslow from Family Matters. Hi, Mr. Winslow.
Yep, that's right. Wasn't he also the voice of the Shredder?
No, that was Uncle Phil.
Right. Shows what
But although Uncle Phil did make an appearance on the show as like a blooper cameo because they made Family Matters and The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air like the same studio, I guess.
Right.
Or the joke was that people confuse Reginald Val Johnson for Uncle Phil. I don't know. Whatever.
wrong ball, black eye.
Yeah, yeah. Wrong.
Different black eye. No.
Yeah.
Stop being racist.
And I also met Victoria Price, Vincent Price's daughter, such a lovely, sweet lady to meet at conventions.
That's awesome.
And I met cousin Eddie from Chris's Vacation.
Oh, Randy Quaid. That's awesome.
Yes, I did. He was really nice, really friendly, down to earth, and a gentleman. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I also met Johnny and Barbara from Night of the Living Dead. They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Yeah, that's the OG Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah, I met the first guy who was attacked by a zombie. How about that, ladies and gentlemen?
How about that?
Yeah. And when I met him, I asked him a few questions. I said, what was George Romero like to work on with Mark? He said, oh, George Romero was great to work with. And he said, if you're interested, would you like to wear a pair of sunglasses that George Romero always used to wear? Because he told me after when George Romero passed away, his wife was like, oh, would you like to have these sunglasses? And he said, oh, yeah, sure. And he goes, now when I go to conventions, I let people wear sunglasses they want to for the picture when they meet him.
That's awesome.
I know. I got to wear a pair of sunglasses that George Romero used to wear. I went full Romero for 5 seconds.
Full Romero. As long as it didn't turn into a zombie.
Yeah, that's the only difference. I wasn't turned into a zombie. That's okay. And also, the actress who played Barbara was very nice. Judith O'Day. She said that working with Romero was great, and how this movie is still has a great legacy and impact on
still to this day. It was one of the first to have a African American lead.
Yeah. She told me that Dwayne was great to work with too. He was a gentleman, and also how he smoked a lot. She said, "Don't smoke." Like, that's okay. I never smoked cigarettes.
Go figure.
Yes. Well, again, that's the philosophy from the past generation. Don't smoke.
Don't smoke. Smoking is
yeah. But that was a fun convention I went to, meeting the Night of the Living Dead actor. Then I also met the actress who was in Dawn of the Dead.
That's awesome.
Yes. And I don't know if you know this, she was in Creepshow, the Leslie Nielsen story.
That's right. Yeah.
I know. I never knew that until recently. Oh my God, that was her.
Go figure. Small world.
Yes, and I also asked her, what was it like working with Leslie Nielsen? Did he whoopee cushion and prank you? And she goes, yes, he pranked me with fart machines, but she said it was great though. He was a great guy.
That's great. That's great. Yeah.
Like I said, that's why Leslie Nielsen was meant for comedy. He really was a goofball in real life.
And the weird thing is he started as a serious actor too.
That's true. Well, the funny part is he does play it seriously, but funny at the same time in The Naked Gun.
Well, yeah, that's why The Naked Gun works. The original.
Right. Heroin. That's a big order. You'll have to give me a couple days on that one. Get this man some drugs over here. Yeah. I love you. I love you too, Norman. Wait, when Norman said I love you, he was talking about the bow, not you. I realize that now.
My father went the same way. Yeah, like the OG Naked Gun is great. The
Right.
remake, I saw the remake. The remake
How
was pretty
was
good
it?
too.
Really? I don't know. I just
It's okay.
I don't know. It's
Honestly,
just
I think
I don't know.
Pam Anderson shines the brightest.
Right.
Honestly,
Well,
in the remake.
I mean, Liam Neeson just was not doing it for me in the trailers. He faked every orgasm.
He tries to do Frank Drebin, and he lands sometimes. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You know, he's a
Right.
bit of a
Gotcha.
mixed bag in terms of his performance. But
I always go back to the original.
Pam Anderson really shined. But I'm biased.
Right.
I always liked
Well,
Pam as a comedy. In terms
yeah.
of comedy,
I don't know much about
I think once she
Pamela
found her
Anderson.
niche in comedy, she excelled at it.
Well, you know, Leslie Nielsen is what made the original Naked Gun.
Yeah,
Yes.
I agree.
When he gets, I always like laugh at when he like gets in the driver's head. All right, Stephanie, now extend your arm out and extend your middle finger out. Then try.
Yep, yep.
I can quote this movie all day. Be here forever.
Yeah. The OG Naked Gun is great. You guys got to see it if
Yeah,
you haven't seen it already.
yeah, yeah. Timeless classic that never gets old with its
Timeless
comedy.
classic for sure.
Yeah, and speaking of comedy, I recently watched John Candy's documentary. I Like Me. It was great.
I need to see that. I've always been a
It's
big John Candy fan.
no same. It just shows like John Candy was like one of those guys. Like he was a great human being. It's like man, I wish we had more people like that in our
Yeah,
life.
the only guy I can really think about that's like a modern John Candy, I guess, would be Brendan Fraser.
I guess, or Robin Williams to a degree.
To a degree, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Brendan always had that human quality, and
yeah, and also
I
like
really hope the man is taking care of himself. You know,
right.
because I
It also
know
shows.
Hollywood chewed him up and spat him out.
Oh yeah. Well, also like it shows that
Horrible
John
things
Candy
to
was a
him.
great talented actor. If he didn't die so young, he could have had more years ahead of him.
Yeah, and I really liked what he did towards the end of his life. He started to experiment with having kid shows. He had a kid show
Yeah,
called Camp Candy, which I thought was a really
yeah,
cute idea of
yeah.
educating kids.
And
It made me like him more as a human being.
right. Well, also, I was when I was watching the documentary, they interviewed Macaulay Culkin because he worked with him on Uncle Buck, and I know there's been a lot of like stories about how Macaulay Culkin said his dad was abusive to him, and when Macaulay Culkin said when he made Uncle Buck during the making of it, John would go to Macaulay, ask him like, "Hey, you okay, kid? You all right?" It's like John Candy was like a better father figure to Macaulay than his real dad.
Yeah, and again, I'm so happy to see Culkin finally getting his, or at least got his life back together now.
Yeah. Yeah, and he also said that when making Uncle Buck, he said John Candy loved working with the kids on the movie.
I believe it, and that was, Uncle Buck was the reason why we got Home Alone.
That's true. Yep. Where do you live? Home, hustler.
Yeah.
What's your record of consecutive questions for 38? You are your father's son. Sorry, I can't do that scene well because only Macaulay was able to pull that scene out with the questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a job? No.
No. What do? Lots of things. Do you have kids? Are you married? No. Why are you not married? That's a long story. Do you have kids? No. Why no kids? That's a longer story.
Yeah. Great moments at Uncle Buck. Great moments.
Yeah, well, great moments at John Candy, period. Trains, planes, and automobiles.
And it's funny, in recent years, I discovered SCTV, which...
Oh, I love SCTV. I grew up on that show. My dad used to show
I'll talk a little bit about, SCTV was basically SNL kind of around the same time. And that gave birth to, like, John Candy, Eugene Levy, like, so many different
legends. Yeah. Yes.
And it was a skit show, and has some great John Candy moments.
Yes, like Mr. Science or Johnny LaRue. Yeah, Johnny LaRusso. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, where he a parody of like a starving actor director who is not getting enough respect for how talented he is, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I will admit I have to rewatch some SCTV because it's been a while. I used to
Me
watch a lot
too.
of that when I was
Me
a kid.
too. Anyway.
Yeah, yeah. But definitely recommend some SCT. Oh, here's one that I liked. Where they parody The Godfather and he plays Pavarotti.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
they
caught
spoof the
that.
Godfather wedding scene, and he's like showing up like, and he's excited for the food rather than the bride, and they're like, Johnny, sing this after I finish eating.
Great
Yeah,
stuff.
definitely go check it out. I don't want to give too much away, but definitely check out his spoof of playing Pavarotti in Godfather and SCTV.
All right. Well, I'm gonna have to check that out. Anything else you want to cover, or you want to?
Let me see here. Nah, I think we just about covered about maybe just one more thing though about Back to the Future though. When the second one came out, well, the second movie 10 years ago was 2015, the year they go to the future. Whenever I rewatch that movie now compared as a kid, I'm thinking, man, I have a different perspective because we lived through that 10 years ago.
Film is always more exciting than the future in real life.
Oh yeah, because it's like there were no hoverboards, or this was true, this was not true, and
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Like
and the
we get the lame version of what we think we're gonna get.
yeah, yeah.
In layman.
And well, there is one thing, they were close but no cigar. The Cubs won a year later. They were close but no cigar.
Close, no cigar.
Yeah, yeah. Being because again, being a baseball fan that I am, I'm like, wait a second. I mean, the Cubs were in the playoffs that year, but they lost to the Mets though. But they did win a year later the World Series.
Right, exactly, and it's one of those things.
Yeah, and there is two Miami teams, but they're not called the Miami Gators. They're called the Miami Marlins, known formerly Florida Marlins. They're the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. No, Tampa Bay Rays. I'm sorry.
Something
Again,
like that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know sports. Okay.
Well, I'm a big baseball fan. That's my
Yeah, you're the baseball boy.
Yes, that's how I know it. That's
Anyway.
Yeah, like I said, that's what I get for being a geek in movies and baseball.
Movies and baseball.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right. Well, with that said, we'll
that's about it. Yeah, I think I got out of my system.
All right. Well, I've been Wolfman Sam here with my partner Johnny Buff Guns. We've been Creatures of the Night, and we'll see you guys next time.